Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 14th of December. It is 11 o'clock. And if you are new here, we are going to go through all of the crypto news of the day in 45 minutes or less, followed by a quick crypto quiz at the end. So smash the likes. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know what you are doing today. Have you enjoyed the Fed D day? We always say the same thing. It's the most important Fed decision yet. And today we're going to cover it because it's the biggest bit of news. And if you weren't bullish before, you are certainly going to be bullish from now on. So we're going to go through the green light, that is the Fed decision. Forget the rate pause. Listen to what he had to say because he sounds like a beaten man. He's gone dovish. I was expecting a lot more hawkish words. He wasn't. He was dovish. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about XRP and a massive, massive bull candle. We're going to talk about Cardano. I've been telling you about XRP and Cardano for months. They were going to rip at some point, and they are. We're then going to take a look at Ethereum versus Cardano. Sorry, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Which is the best one to invest in during the up-and-coming 2-year, 18-month bull market. Then we're going to have a look at IMF. They're in a bit of a panic. And we're going to look at Gensler, what he's had to say about the impending ETFs and things like that. It's an awful lot. We're probably not going to get through it in 45 minutes, which means we're either going to overrun or we are going to cut something out. Probably Gary Gensler. I'd like nothing more than to cut him out. Good morning to Ibesa. Remember, if you are watching on an exchange, we will be dropping the red envelopes at 11:20 in about 18 minutes time. So if you are here for the red envelope, I'm going to drop one. We are running low on funds, so it is going to be a little bit delayed. Also, a big good morning to Kishan. Kishan is one of our OG members. OG members indeed. Thank you, Kishan, for your support. As always, it is greatly appreciated. We're going to be dropping 2 more videos today. We're going to be looking at ELF. ELF is one of the tokens, and another one which is a surprise. We're dropping 2 videos today, 2 price targets for those 2 coins. But we are going to crack on with the show. User 19, thanks for being here. You are more than welcome. Let's go, everybody. Tozy, I don't know. I did drop it. The chances are you'll have to wait another 15 minutes for another one. Let's have a look at the markets then. Now, as I said, there was 2 real directions for Bitcoin, depending on what was going to come out of Chairman Powell's mouth yesterday. One was obviously down and the other one was up. I gave my price targets mainly to the downside because I was expecting a bit of a rate hike. I was expecting another 0.25%. That's why I think the markets have reacted so favorably. So we're going to have a look at the charts in a bit, but let's have a quick look. We're up 3%. Market cap is up. Volume is pretty negligible, hasn't really moved. Bitcoin dominance hasn't really moved an awful lot, whereas you were there. And as you can see, Bitcoin has reclaimed pretty much all of the losses from the start of the week. We're just under 43,000. Ethereum is back towards $2,300, and XRP and Cardano and Solana. Solana's back above $70. Cardano is above 60 cents. Now for Solana, don't forget, our next 2 price targets are $80 and $100 for Solana. $72 was the next stop along the way. A lot of people are saying that we're going to peak. We're going to slow down with Solana. We're going to slow down with some of these coins. What I think you're going to find is that a lot of the other altcoins are going to start to catch up. So XRP, Cardano, Avalanche has been on a massive run. I've got a bag of Avalanche. I thought it was wholly undervalued when I was paying, I think I was paying $11, $10, $9 for it. So Avalanche is on a good run. We're not going to talk about Polkadot. Polygon hasn't done anything all year. Are we going to see a Matic surge at some point? Chainlink is up at $15. So the top coins have done exceptionally well in the last 24 hours. But let's have a look at the real gainers and the real losers. Bonk. I know it's going to get listed. I know it's going to get listed, but it's just under a $1 billion market cap. Where is this going to go? Think about it logically. I know you're going to buy in because the price looks cheap, but look at the market cap. We're at $1 billion. Is it going to go to $5 billion? Is it going to go to $6 billion? Look at the market cap of, where is it? Of Dogecoin. We're at $13.7 billion. That's the largest meme coin in the world. Somewhere down here, we're going to find SHIB Inu at $6 billion. Do we think that Bonk is going to touch SHIB Inu? Because what I think is going to happen, I think this is going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news. I think this is going to get listed where it's been talked about being listed, and then I think the price is going to tank. It's up 7,600% in a year. The time to make money was buying it in January. However, if you'd have asked me about buying it in January, I would have said no. I would have said go nowhere near it. Woo is up. Helium is up. Injective is up. Stacks. There's a lot of big gainers today. Beam, Celestia, IOTA. There's a lot of coins. Even FET. Remember, FET is one of my 2 AI picks for the bull run. Fetch and Ajax. Why? Because they are under $1 billion market cap, which means they should have longer to run and higher to go. If you're buying a coin that's at $2, $5, $8 billion, it will go up potentially 5, 6, 7x, but it's not going to do a 10x or a 15x. So just bear that in mind. You should have a balanced portfolio, and I own a bag of Fetch and I own a bag of Ajax, and depending on who you listen to, one is way better than the other. So we've got a lot of gainers in the last 24 hours and losers, not really a lot down here. When you start to see the stable coins down here, this is a sign that it's a massive green day. So markets are looking very, very buoyant. We're going to leave that one open for now. See if we can get above 43,000 before the end of the stream. Let's send thoughts and prayers to Bitcoin to get over 43,000. We shall see. Remember, if you've got any questions, ask them in chat a couple of times. So type the question a couple of times just so we can catch them. Because at the minute, in one of the channels in particular, we're seeing a lot of spam. And some names of people that have joined the stream recently. FZBVNB. Welcome to the stream. I'm very sorry, I can't pronounce that. Welcome, Cosmo. Thank you for joining. Remember, we're going to be dropping the boxes in about 13 minutes' time. So let's get on. Why is this a green light? Why are we so bullish now on Bitcoin? Let's start at the beginning. Most people predicted another 25 basis points increase in interest rates from the Fed this month. That hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. He's frozen the rate hikes, and he said specifically that there would be one more rate hike this year. He said that in September or August. It didn't happen in November. It was 95% priced in for December, and what happened? We didn't get it. So we are going into 2024 with a dovish Fed to add to all of the other things that we talk about all the time on the channel. ETFs, Bitcoin halving, interest rates coming down, inflation coming down. We do have a potential for a recession on the books because these rate hikes take a long time to kick into the economy. And remember, of that 3.1% inflation that we have in the States, 2% of it is housing. So if you take housing out of the equation, we are within all of the remits of where we wanted to get to. But Powell is a stickler. He wants higher unemployment. He wants house prices to come down, and he wants inflation to come down. There is 3 ticks. He's got 2. I don't think he's going to get the 3rd one. That's the problem. So analysts say this could be a positive boost for crypto stocks. Could. Well, why do we keep putting could, would, should into our vocabulary? It's just a complete get out. I know I say things all the time like it could hit 45, it could hit 39. I get that. But I'm not an expert. I'm not one of these so-called analysts that appears in these articles. I'm just a guy that goes through the news and checks the charts. So in the interview with Bloomberg, BlackRock fund manager Jeffrey Rosenberg described the Fed's rate pause and hint at rate cuts next year as a green light for investors. S&P was up. Its bullish sentiment can go on for a while, at least until we get a new round of economic data. Until then, the message is clear. The Fed is more than willing to see an easing in financial conditions. Now remember, a rate pause is not going to indicate rate cuts in January or February. My betting is that we're going to start to see them potentially in March, if not April. Why? Because that is 6 months before the election in America, and the Fed don't want to be seen as being political, but they're acting in a political manner. So I think rate cuts in April. What does that tie in with? The halving. Are we going to get the Bitcoin ETFs in January? Everything is going to absolutely explode next year. Now, one word of warning, and I'm going to tell you this now. This is very important. You need to listen to this. There are going to be people telling you that Bitcoin is going to start moving outside of its cycle. These same people were telling you that Bitcoin was going to move out of its cycle 4 years ago. They're going to say, the cycle doesn't work anymore. We're not going to have the 4-year cycle. They are to be ignored. The Bitcoin 4-year cycle is written into the very DNA of Bitcoin. We are going to have the Bitcoin halving in 2023. Then we're going to have the Bitcoin halving in 2027. The returns that we get on those halvings are going to be reduced because it's 50% less impact each time. That I accept, but we are not going to fall outside of the Bitcoin halving. This could be the very last mega pump that we get from Bitcoin because of the market cap it's going to get to, because of the ETFs. The chances are we're not going to see the massive pumps that we've had of recent bull runs, but it doesn't mean that it's going to break the cycle. The 4-year cycle is there on purpose to shock Bitcoin every 4 years, to reduce the supply and in turn increase the demand, which then becomes, in Satoshi's terms, an inflation hedge against the money printing that goes on in America, in Europe, in the UK, and Asia. So don't listen to people if they say it's going to break. It's not going to break. It's just going to be slightly different as it is every year. So who's this? John Deaton, clever bloke because he agrees with me, of course. Bitcoin halving, spot Bitcoin ETFs, probably 3 cuts next year. He has missed a few other bits off this. The Ripple case hasn't been completely closed. That's going to happen probably next year as well. So there's 2 parts to the Ripple case. One, of course, is proving that it isn't a security, which they won. The second is the fine, which they haven't agreed on. And of course, the election year. Don't forget the election year in the UK, some other part of Europe as well, and America, all happening at the beginning of next year. They make a massive, massive difference to the economy because governments print money in election year to make you feel richer. And if they make you feel richer, you'll think to yourself, why do I need to change government? I'm doing okay for myself. And then come next year, taxes go up, you feel poorer for 2 years. Then in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, they cut taxes, give you more money, and the whole thing starts all over again. That's a 4-year cycle. That has never changed either. If we see the likes of BlackRock and Fidelity launch the Bitcoin ETFs, we'd expect a lot of other traditional financial institutions to enter the crypto markets as well. Now, I have got 2 articles about the Fed rates because one of them has some quotes from Chairman Powell, which I want to get to. I think there's a good chance we're going to overrun today. I do apologize, but we have a lot to get through. I have already taken stuff out of the show, which we might cover tomorrow. So it's a very heavy show. I do apologize. So this is Chairman Powell. If you've never seen him before, he is head of the Fed. He is in charge of making sure the American economy doesn't collapse, has hyperinflation, becomes deflationary. This is his job. I actually like the guy. I think he speaks a lot of common sense. You need to listen to these people in person. Don't listen to what other people say about them. Go and watch the Fed videos online. He does know an awful lot about what he's saying. Tighter financial and credit conditions for households and businesses are likely to weigh on economic activity, higher inflation, says the central bank's statement. The extent of these effects remains uncertain. The reason is, some people believe it can take 18 months for the effects of interest rates to hit the markets, house prices, food, all those kind of things. Now, we started these rate hikes, I don't even know if it was before the beginning of this year. So the effects aren't going to be seen in full impact until maybe June next year. But you can't wait until June next year to start cutting them, because it's like they've strangled the water supply in the river, and it will take a little while for that river to run dry, but you can't wait for it to run dry. You have to slow the flow long enough for everything to come back into order, but you have to turn the flow back on before the river runs dry. And the river running dry would be a massive recession, massive unemployment. It would then cause people wouldn't be able to afford to buy things. Prices would become deflationary. The economy would shrink. That's where we don't want to get to. So he can't wait until June next year to start with these rate cuts. He's going to have to start March, April, probably April, the second quarter, start of the second quarter. And when that happens, all bets are off, because Bitcoin is a risk-on asset. So people see Bitcoin as a risky asset. They're not going to be buying it during a period of contraction and high interest rates. The bank now expects 2023 to end with a core inflation of 3.2 versus 3.7% expected 3 months earlier. The end rate is now supposed to be 2.4 rather than 2.6. These are all amazing numbers. Now, obviously, these are not amazing numbers for the people living there. If you live in a country where inflation is incredibly high, that's not great news for you, because you can't afford to buy food, pay your bills, etc. But for an economy that has printed so much money, this is good news, that it's now drained the economy of the excess money and the excess demand, and should bring everything back into equilibrium. So as we know, the price of Bitcoin has gone up. That's all I really wanted to go through from that piece. So let's have a quick look at the price. As I said to you yesterday on the stream, we were in a channel, and as I pointed out, we didn't break down below that channel. We held the line. When it decides to load. There we go. Okay, so we are here now. Now look at what happened. I said yesterday that we had come down to here and we'd found support. And look at what we have done. We have started to come straight back up to this level. So, as I've said many times, I do not have a crystal ball. I can only try and interpret in my own way how the charts work. This channel that we are in, we were in a similar channel in October. Here, we've come up. We broke this channel. So this was the original channel that we were in, that kind of covered this period here, and we broke it. Remember, these channels, they're not permanent. They're only to kind of give us an indication of the direction of where prices are going to go. So we go back to the middle of October. We're now the middle of December. It's held firm for 2 months, so it does have some weight behind it. And this works until it doesn't work. Let's bear that in mind. So what happened with the price? We were stuck at this volume area for quite some time. And without being a rocket scientist, you would have said, right, the next leg up is to go to another one of these volume areas, here and here. So what happened was we came up to the top of our range, which was what, 44,500, something like that, which we've now touched twice. We have a habit of doing this. We have a habit of knocking on the door a couple of times before breaking through. So bear that in mind. But when we broke down, so when we had the Elizabeth Warren with the pre-Fed rate, we came down to the bottom of this area and we held it. And if you remember me saying yesterday, if we broke down, we would come down to about 38,000, I said. And that's where we could have gone. So if the rate hike had gone in, this is just what happens. So, Kishan, what we normally have in December is we have something called the Santa Rally, and it affects stocks. It comes from stocks. And what happens is the start of December, the 1st of December, and the 31st of December, when you take a snapshot of stock prices between the 1st and the 31st, what you tend to find is 7 years out of 9, the price of stocks will go up by between 1 and 1.5%. And it's called the Santa Rally. Now, there is actually a reasoning behind this, and that's because pension funds in America, they sell all of their underperforming assets. I think it's before September the 1st. So when they report the end of year performance, it's all green and hunky-dory. And then what they do is they buy back those stocks in December. So they sell at the beginning of October, they buy back in the beginning of December, and that kind of creates the Santa Rally. And obviously that liquidity flows back into stocks and the whole stock market rises. So the Santa Rally is something you should look out for. There are periods of a year where Bitcoin doesn't perform very well. August and September, I think it doesn't perform very well. Maybe March or April, I can't remember. There's a couple of months where Bitcoin just doesn't do anything. But we should see a Santa Rally. I think this year we're going to see a Santa Rally. Because we're in the 4-year cycle, we should see a positive December. So this is what I'm going to get to. So what's happened is we didn't fall down here. We held this volume area here. And now if you look what we've done, we've come up to touch the base of the next area here. So we held here and we've moved up to touch here. Now obviously this is back up towards, the ranges we want to get to. If we break these ranges, my next level is this level here, 48,400. We're going to have some other things along the way. We've got a fib level here for a start off that we've hit a few times. But if we do this, potentially we're going to finish the year at 48 to 50,000. We've got the green light from the Fed, which means I think in the next week or two, we're going to see a big green candle. I think we're going to see something very similar. Hang on one second. I think we're going to see something very similar to this in the next couple of weeks. And look at that. That's where I think we could go, potentially there. The top of the channel on the 21st of December is at 48,500. If we make a move similar to this, and by the way, we can go as far down this channel as you want with this line, and it ties up. So if we replicate that from here, we're going to be somewhere in the region of 48 to 50,000 by the end of the year. Rudimentary, I know, but that's where I think we're going to go. The only thing that can put an absolute a spanner in the works from now on would be something like a black swan. A black swan would really put a spanner in the works. But if we haven't got a black swan, then away we go. Now, we have covered XRP a couple of times on the stream in the last few weeks, more than normal, I would say. But we're going to go and have a look at this. I couldn't turn this article down. Now, before we get any further, I'm going to drop some red envelopes. Now, as I said to you at the start, we are low on funds, so it's not going to be as big as normal. So I do apologize profusely. Put the numbers in. If it would work. It's really slow, this new fund adding system, or whatever you want to call it. It is really very slow, so give me a second. So I hope that answered your question, Kishan. I think we're going to have a green December. Or a greener December. I don't think we've finished yet. Right, time to drop the comment to win. So give me a second. And then we will crack on. Crypto warehouse. There we go. Now we haven't forgotten about our quiz night. We are going to do a quiz night at some point over Christmas. We're going to do a quiz night where we're going to give away crypto for getting questions right and all that kind of thing. We're going to do a quiz night. We've also got the second annual Crypto Warehouse Awards night, where we will be giving out awards to various different crypto influencers. We did it last year. It was a whole load of fun. I think last year, the one I remember was Women in Crypto. And I think Kathy Wood, Crypto Wendio, and the Mexican senator won the top 3 positions on that award ceremony. And then I think there was a few others anyway. We had an awards night. It was good fun. You're all welcome to the coins. It's not a lot as normal. It's just, like I say, we're getting to the end of the week and we're going to run out of money. So let me go back to here and begin. So XRP forms the largest bull flag in cryptocurrency history. Now, I don't know whether I believe this or not. I don't know, but we're going to look at it. I have looked at the chart already and I have tried to replicate it, and it doesn't take us up as high as maybe people think. I've got it taking us to 90 cents or 89 cents, which would be, in all fairness, a good price. You are an independent filmmaker. That is absolutely amazing. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. You'll have to let me know if you need any background research for your films, and we'll make you a video and put it in the members area. That's amazing. That is pretty amazing. So data confirms XRP has formed the largest bull flag in cryptocurrency history. I can't wait to show you this. So data from the 1 month chart brings credence to the claim. Recall that XRP leveraged the bull market of 2018 to record an impressive all-time high of 384. Now, we know about the rate, the return, but I mean, look at what price it started at. It was wholly undervalued. However, after XRP attained a 384 high in January, the asset started to collapse, which we know about. We've then had 2 years of a court case. So now it has formed the bull flag, and that is a hefty bull flag. Indeed. So let's have a look down here. So he's not made any price predictions, but gave his audience an opportunity to pick from 4 possible price scenarios. 384, 880, 22, higher than 22.35. Personally, I would pick $6 to $9 for XRP. I've said it before on the channel. Maybe I've said $6 to $8. I think $6 to $8 for a coin with the market cap. Remember, XRP has a market cap of 34 billion. A 10x from here would put it at 340 billion. I know that's simple math, but that's $1/3 of $1 trillion for one coin. So that would put it at $6.27. I do think $6 to $9 for XRP. I also think Cardano will get somewhere in the region of $6 to $9. in the next bull run. I am seeing, again, the sign of the bull run is I'm seeing these price predictions now of $80, $60, $25 for Cardano. These numbers, you need to be very careful when you see these numbers. They are overly optimistic. You should not look at those price predictions outside of what the market cap is. So $100 XRP would put it at, I don't even know where to begin with what that would put it at. That would give you a $1 trillion market cap or $0.9 trillion market cap. It would just be massive. It might even be more. I can't even work it out. 340. Actually, no. That would give it a $5 trillion market cap. Something like that. It's impossible in this bull run to get anywhere near there. So just be careful when you see people giving you these outrageous targets for coins. It might be really nice to listen to them. It might be really nice to see where you think you're going to make money on them. But just be realistic. Because if you start to put these numbers into your spreadsheets and you've got a $10,000 portfolio, you're suddenly going to think that you're going to make $5 or $6 million in this next bull run from $10,000. Unless you have gone full degen and are holding all of these meme coins and altcoins, you're not going to do it with traditional assets. It's very difficult to get that far. So let's have a quick look at the chart and I'll give you my shorter term price predictions for XRP, which of course, if you're a regular here, you are going to know these price predictions anyway, because I say them all the time. I think we've still got the lines drawn. So as you can see, XRP is sitting on this lovely volume area. We have broken above this fib level once, which was back at the start of November. That took us all the way up to 71 cents. Now, I think the next logical target, once we break this line here, is to go towards 80 cents. So if we could get an 80 cent XRP by the end of the year, that would give us a 20% run up. And it has been done. Previously, if you go back to July, we had the SEC case. Look what happened. It broke out. It touched that fib level at 94 cents. Came back down. Got rejected at this fib level, which is 80 cents. Came back down. And then we've still held this trend line, which I mention all the time. We've still held it. So for me, if we could break this level here, we would like to see 80 cents by the end of the year, because it's all well and good me sitting here telling you we're going to go to $1.33 by December. We've got 2 weeks left and we're at 63 cents. So realistically, where are we going to go? Realistically, let's see what we did from this pump here. Realistically, from this pump, actually, am I on the line there? There we go. That would take us up here to 88 cents if we followed that, which we're not going to. I'm just giving you an example of a pump. So it's more than possible that we could do a 20% XRP pump in the next couple of weeks, get us to 80 cents, and then start next year potentially looking to do a 7AX over the course of the next 18 months. That would be my price target. But for those of you looking at trying to pick up some cheap XRP, I mean, really, the bottom of this trend line is now 55 cents. So 55 cents realistically ties in with the fib line. You're not going to pick up cheaper XRP than 55 cents. 63 cents isn't much of a premium over that. I mean, ideally, we could potentially do this. Potentially retest this level here at 69 before breaking up. I mean, that's all possible. But you're not. I just can't see us getting these prices. And I'll go back to what the girl said to me it must have been about here. And she said something along the lines of, why would you buy XRP now it's going down? And I think at the time XRP was somewhere in the region of 50 cents. We've come 20% plus since then, and we're likely to go higher. So remember, look at previous levels of coins. Don't just look at the short term. Zoom out. The best time to buy XRP would have been down here. That would have been the best time to buy it. But look at what we've done all year. We've beautifully followed this line. And we could come back down here, but again, it's only 56 cents. And then we could do that. So XRP for me is still a massive buy. Now we're going to move on to another coin, which is I've got one of my biggest bags is Cardano. My big two bags, of course, are Bitcoin and Ethereum, but Cardano is starting to look like it wants to make a serious move. Such is the case that I think we could probably do with a retracement now on Cardano. We've come quite a long way in a very short space of time. And remember, Cardano is pretty much a stable coin for most of the year. So to see what's happened in the last few weeks is ridiculous, because I was telling people to buy Cardano at 40 cents. It was a bargain. If we go to $5 from 40 cents, that's a 12x. It's a 12x on a top 10 coin. Okay, that's what you want to be looking at. Can you maximize the returns by buying the biggest market cap coins you can to get those 10x's? Look at what's happened to Solana. We're at $72. Brogan was buying it at $10. So that's on a 7x this year before the bull run. It would be very difficult for me to imagine another 7x on Solana without a retracement. With Cardano, it's different. Cardano has been in the doldrums all year. So hold on to your bags of Cardano, stake them, and wait for the bull run. That would be my advice on Cardano. So a prominent crypto analyst who goes by the name Lookside Crypto shared an upbeat outlook on Cardano on December the 12th, which was, of course, 2 days ago. It was the day before the Fed rate hike. He suggested Cardano may be bottoming out and poised to break out. Specifically, he pointed to a bullish pennant pattern forming on the chart, typically signaling a continuation in the price rise. Does he give an idea of what kind of price action he was expecting? So as for what sparking the latest crypto sell-off, the analyst theorized could be one last big shakeout. It wasn't really a big shakeout though, was it? We didn't really come down. It could still happen. We could still have another wobble, but as far as I can see, it would take not a serious black swan. It would take conflict or a pandemic to really kind of kick us in the teeth from where we are now. So Cardano, let's go back a little bit in time to Cardano and look at where we are. Again, with price action, what you should always do is try and find previous levels of where the coin has been. And as you can see, we've kind of had a pretty crappy June to October. What's that? 15 months. We just did nothing but go down like this. Nothing but go down. We've broken out. Again, look at fib levels. You always get 20/20 vision when you look at fib levels, because they always look so obvious in hindsight. We couldn't break, we broke down. We bounced, we couldn't break, we came down. We couldn't break out, we came down. We bounced, we couldn't break out, we came down. We did what? We broke. And where did we come up to? We came up to the 64-cent range, which we were at exactly before we started this downward momentum. So we've now reached a level, for me, I would be happy to finish the year at for Cardano. If we finish the year at 65 cents for Cardano, I would be very, very happy. Down here, we were at 24 cents. We've almost 3x'd in 2 months. Almost 3x'd in 2 months, 2.5x'd. It's a big surge. I don't think it's going to hold. I know we're sitting on it, but I think we're likely to see this. So I think we're likely to come down to 55 cents, which would take us to that level of support that we've had in the past. Potentially. I could be completely wrong and we could just go to $1. I know. But if you look further up, there isn't an awful lot of other prices to look at. If I drew the fib level back over the entire chart, I'm sure we would. But I mean, where have we got any other? I suppose here, $1.22. So if we do break this level, where could we go to in a moonshot? Would be $1.20. We're miles away. I can't see it. I can't see it. Can't see it now. I think hold this level of support. Finish the year at 65 cents. The gains this year have been very good on Cardano. But like I say, if you look from October 2022 to November 2023, you could have sold your Cardano here and you could have bought it here at exactly the same price. That's what's happened. Very similar to Solana. Solana did the same thing. It went from November to November because of the FTX fiasco, and it was the same price pretty much 52 weeks later than it was back in 2022. Cardano's broken out. I do think now we shouldn't get too excited. Remember, Cardano is a solid community. Let's not get them too excited. They've been asleep for a year. Let's wake them up gently. Let's stick at 65 cents. There isn't really a lot further. 79 cents maybe. If we look at that, I don't know. I can't see it myself. Let's bring that down. So maybe there's a level there to look at. But again, I can't see much more upward action. XRP is different. XRP's been following a trend line, and that trend line is fairly close. It's 15% away from the price we are at now. Cardano's had a blow off top, 65 cents. I just don't think it's going to hold it. I think it's going to come down. So, last thing we're going to do, chart-wise anyway, because we are running out of time, is we're going to look at, again, fairly obvious articles where we're looking at traditional finance giving its opinion on crypto, which I know we shouldn't do, but I'm just using it to highlight the point. JP Morgan says that Ether will likely outperform Bitcoin next year. Okay. Ethereum is going to have its ETF moment next year. Ethereum has switched from proof of work to proof of stake. So when we were saying at the start of the show that people talk about the fact that this time the cycle is different, this time the cycle could be over, that's great, but it's not going to happen. But in this instance, I will agree that Ethereum 2024 is not the Ethereum of 2020. We've moved to proof of stake. We've become deflationary. They are two massive, massive changes, because once it became proof of stake, once it became based on validators and not miners, it became more environmentally friendly. So in terms of investors, they have to be very careful, especially corporate investors. They have to be very careful what they invest in. Does it meet the EIS standards or ESG standards, whatever they're called? So now Ethereum is, in my opinion, not going to be the same this bull run as it was last bull run. But JP Morgan is stating the obvious. Nearly every altcoin worth its salt is going to outperform Bitcoin because Bitcoin has the largest market cap. If we move Bitcoin by $400 billion, that's 50% more market cap growth. If we moved, let me think of an example. If we moved XRP by 400 billion, we would probably 25x the price. So it's stating the obvious. Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Solana, all of them will move way more than Bitcoin because their market caps are insignificant compared to Bitcoin. Solana's market cap, even after a 600% run-up, is 31 billion. It's what's that? It's 3% of the market cap of Bitcoin. So if Solana moves to 300 billion in this cycle and goes to a $700 coin, the chances are that Bitcoin is likely to be at 3 to 4 to 5 billion. So Bitcoin will 4 or 5x, whereas Solana could 10x, but it's still insignificant compared to the size of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin will have its massive run-up, it will have 55, 56, 57% Bitcoin dominance. It will then sell off. Where does that money go? It goes from Bitcoin into altcoins, and you get the alt season. So people will sell Bitcoin near the top, buy Ethereum, buy XRP, buy Solana. What happens when that happens? Well, if 100 billion gets sold from Bitcoin and gets put into Solana, it could make a $500 Solana immediately. So just bear that in mind. It's an obvious fact. Obvious fact. Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin, but Cardano, XRP, Solana will also outperform Bitcoin. I don't believe this at all. Ether is not going to outperform other cryptocurrencies in 2024. Ether is not going to be the top performer of 2024 by any means. It's still got a $240 billion market cap. It's not going to outperform everything else. The upgrade is going to make a massive difference. They've had delays. The proof of stake system that they're using isn't perfect. Vitalik is more than likely going to copy Cardano's proof of stake. So don't, again, what I was saying before about these price predictions of influencers, don't listen to everybody when they give you outlandish headlines. This isn't going to outperform every other cryptocurrency. It's going to outperform Bitcoin because Bitcoin is just so damn big. And also, most people don't know what proto-dank sharding is, and most people don't care. So don't forget that. It's not also, this is utter nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It is not priced in because the price comes from the miners not having enough Bitcoin to sell. They get half the Bitcoin from April next year to sell. And I don't know what it equates to. I can't remember how many billions of Bitcoin a year it removes from the supply, but it's not priced in. It's certainly not priced in. What could be priced in is the ETFs. That could be priced in. So I don't agree with actually most of what's been said in this, but I wanted to do it anyway, just so I could show the Ethereum chart. I'm just going to drop another box. We are so over time. Just give me a second to drop this. We'll get through a few of these and then we will carry on. One moment. So remember, if you're new here, the two ways you can really help us out: smash the like, smash the love button, follow us. Following us is the most important thing you can do to help us. It doesn't cost you a penny. It's completely free to follow us, but it helps us a lot. We are trying to get to 100,000 followers by as early as we can next year. I think based on where we are today, I think I worked it out. I think we're at 75,000 followers across the different platforms. Obviously not going to name names. I think we might actually be at more, I think we're about 76,000 followers. So we've got a while to go, but remember at the start of this year, I think we had about 3,000 followers. So we've gone from 3,000 to 76,000 in a year, which I don't think is too bad. So you can help us by following us. That's all you have to do. You don't have to, I'm not asking you to turn notifications on. I'm not asking you to break the bank and send us $50 tips or anything like that. Just following us helps us more than you can know, because again, we can go to people and we can tell people, look, we have 100,000 followers, and then we can start to get advertising revenue. Good morning, Moonspid. Good morning, Crazy Ast. I will add your code to the notepad that I have. I have a notepad document of user IDs of people who I can send off and get your VIP upgrades. So I will add you to the list. And thank you for coming on the stream, saying hello. Greatly appreciated. Okay, so Ethereum chart. Again, Ethereum is very good if you go back and look at where we have gone to. We've got various different price targets for Ethereum which do tie in. $2,100, $2,000. These are etched into the Ethereum price. I don't know how. We probably could start to look at drawing Ethereum in a channel. And remember, it can break out and it can break down. So it's not like this. This is an anomaly rather than anything else. This is probably a little bit of a fake out. So we are in a channel on Ethereum. Price targets we've drawn ages ago. $2,400 touched, came back down. Next level up for me, $2,500. Not got to. If we were to get to $2,500, it would be on the 18th of December. Funnily enough, the 21st of December could be when Bitcoin hits $48,000, $48,500. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So by Christmas Day, we could be at a $2,500 Ethereum and a $48,000 Bitcoin. I'm not predicting the future. These are not moon boy predictions. These are just based on, as I say, we've come up, we broke out, we touched the bottom, we touched the bottom again, we touched the top, we touched the bottom. That is as close to a rough sketch as where I think we can go. We can look at the RSI. The RSI isn't too bad. I like to look at the daily charts. I don't do hours, 15 minutes and things like that. We've got Brogan doing that over on the TA that he does now. But for me, I'm looking upwards for Ethereum. I'm looking upwards for Bitcoin, upwards for XRP. And I think Cardano may move down just a tad. Okay, let me add that as well. Okay, I have added your code as well. Right, let me move on. So Bieber, I've added you as well to my list of codes. Right, what's next? We have the IMF and Gary Gensler. So we will... let's have a look at Gary Gensler. Let's skip the IMF news because we've covered it before. The IMF are in a bit of a panic about crypto because they can't control it. If you ever wonder why certain institutions are very negative towards cryptocurrency, think about what they could possibly lose from cryptocurrency being adopted. They are probably not going to lose out in terms of money because they can buy Bitcoin. They're not going to lose out in terms of their customers. Their customers are still going to buy their products and just buy their Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs. What are they going to lose? They're going to lose control. The IMF stands for the International Monetary Fund. The European Central Bank, the Fed, they control the money supply of the world. If suddenly we have a money supply, Bitcoin, as one example, if we have a money supply that is outside of control of central banks, that causes an issue with control. Look at what happened with El Salvador and Argentina. El Salvador bought Bitcoin. The IMF gave it a junk rating. I think it was the IMF. It might have been the other crowd. OECD gave them a junk rating. Look at what's happened with Argentina. Argentina needed money. They borrowed it for the IMF on the condition that Argentina didn't go anywhere near crypto. Why? Because it's about control. They can, I can't mention names, but look at what's happened in Europe. The first thing that happened to the first thing that happened was they carried out sanctions against the country. They turned off access to SWIFT. They turned off the banking system. They stopped that country from being able to sell gas and oil. So what has that country done with China, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia? They have started to use Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies to transact. Why? Because they can't be shut down by the IMF. So it's about control rather than being about not liking cryptocurrency. They don't like it because it's a threat to their status quo. So Gary Gensler, very quickly, we don't need to spend too much time on this. Go away. Okay. The SEC chair appeared prepared to speak extensively on new reforms in treasury markets, but found himself answering inevitable questions about pending Bitcoin ETF applications. Remember as well, in about 5 minutes when we start the quiz, if you've got any questions you want to ask, drop them into chat, and in 5 minutes, and we will, I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. So the SEC introduced new rules today intended to reduce risk in the US Treasury market. According to Reuters, those rules will require a greater number of trades to go through clearinghouses and will introduce collateral requirements for central clearing agencies, amongst other things. Gensler spoke concerning the degree of leverage in the Treasury markets, and Kaylee leans. I don't know. I'm not enjoying your site. Thank you very much. Pivoted the conversation towards multiple spot Bitcoin ETF applications pending with the SEC. He smiled before saying, "There's something very significant about the $26 trillion Treasury market, which is really basis of our entire capital market. It's how we fund our government. It's how our Federal Reserve does monetary policy. It's how we maintain the dollar dominance around the globe. And you want to ask me about crypto? Well, bear in mind, crypto is likely to be 6 to 10 trillion in the next bull run." He downplayed the importance of crypto's ETFs by comparison, stating, "Crypto securities are not only much smaller, they're not how we fund our government, they're not how we conduct monetary policy, and for many investors, they've been harmed in the market." Again, listen to what he is saying here. Okay. They're not how we fund our government. Why is that? Because they can't print Bitcoin when they can print US dollars. They're not how we conduct monetary policy, because Bitcoin cannot be controlled. They want to be able to control Bitcoin. And for many investors, they've been harmed in that market. Again, tarring Bitcoin and crypto with this, it's bad for the person, it's bad for you, come to us, use our American dollars, we will keep you safe. Well, if it's that safe, why are Americans unable to afford heating, housing and food, or drive a car? Because you printed so many dollars, you printed 30% of the total supply of dollars that have ever existed, and you did it in 1 year. You caused raging inflation. You've made millions of Americans poorer because of what you've done. And you are saying that Bitcoin is harming investors. Well, let's just remember one thing. When you get your US dollars, that's an investment, that's a share. That is a note that the American government has to honor. And that honor, you put trust in that government. Do you trust Bitcoin or do you trust the American government? That's the simple question you've got to answer. For most people, they don't trust the government. Bitcoin is uncensorable. It cannot be printed into obscurity. It cannot be controlled. At this moment in time, it is a way for you to escape inflation. Gensler didn't comment on approval chances, and that will be the end. We're actually 15 minutes over, so we're not going to read anything else. We're going to head over, bring up the Bitcoin chart, because we're currently at $43,000. Give me 1 second. I appear to have been... There we go. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to pause the stream for a minute. Say goodbye to the viewers that have joined us on another platform. Thank you for coming. Remember to smash the like button. Remember to give us a follow. It's greatly appreciated. If you like what you've seen, drop a super chat or become an OG member. We do video price predictions every single week, at least 3 times a week. So make sure to do that. I'm going to put the stream on pause, and when I come back for the exchanges that we trade on, we stream on, we're going to do the quiz.